So we're moving on to question 34 through 41. The instruction says, read the following extract carefully and then answer items 34 through 41 on the basis of what is stated or implied. And the title of this extract is The View from the Terrace. Marcus wheeled himself out to his accustomed place at the table on the terrace, and the sight struck him immediately. How could it not? It was an abomination, a desecration, a heresy, a sight unbelievable. There was a house on the hillside, his hill, the one which overlooked the village, and which his terrace faced. It was a small house, to be sure. He estimated it to be no more than 20 feet by 12, with one door and one window on the long side which faced him. From the distance, it was no more than a doll's house, or what a child might draw, a wooden hut, similar to those which sprouting up daily in the squatter settlements which everywhere littered the hillsides, ringing the city. Visible evidence of society out of control. But his hillside wasn't a squatter settlement, and no other house marred his view. His house sat on a slight rise above the village in the valley, and from there he had an uninterrupted view of the mountains on all sides. Far away there were houses, proper ones that is, but none close enough to mar his vision. It had never occurred to him that the hillside he gazed at every day would ever be defaced with human habitation. It was so steep and inhospitable. Few trees grew on it, except for the occasional clump of mangoes. It was mostly covered with grass, which burned every year in dry months, and agaves, which from time to time flowered yellow. Halfway up the hill, and directly in front of his favorite seat on the terrace, was the only tree of any size, and this was a silk cotton tree which would one day become a giant, but which was still small as cotton trees go. Year after year, you watch its progress as it shed its leaves in the winter months and turned a bright green in the spring. And now, immediately behind this tree, as if sheltering in its arms, someone had built a house. On his hill, it wasn't really his hill, but who else was there to claim it? Who else had gazed at it 365 mornings every year for the past 12 years? So, what a view he had in mind of his overlooking his view, so to speak. It was very precious to him. All right, so let's get into the questions. Question 34 says, which word best describes the homeowner's attitude towards the hillside near his house? Is it A, angry, B, proud, C, pleased, or D, possessive? Our answer would be possessive. That is the attitudes of the homeowner. Everything is about mine, mine. All right, let's go to 35. The word struck him. Line 2 suggests that to the homeowner, the sudden appearance of the squatter's house, is it A, stirred disgust at the nature of the home, or B, awoke interest in how quickly it was built, or C, aroused shock at the unexpected neighbor, or D, stimulated pain because of the loss of privacy and control. Our answer would be C, arouse shock at the unexpected neighbor. Let's move on to number 36. The phrase sat on in line 9 tells us that the house is A, set into the hillside, B, comfortable situated, C, precariously located, or D, placed directly on the hill. The answer, Saturn, means that it was comfortably situated. Let's go on to question 37. Which of the following did the homeowner believe gave him the right to claim the hill? Is it A, its proximity to his home, B, it was not easily accessible, or C, the length of time he lived there, or D, no one had moved in for some time? The answer is the proximity to his home. That is it. How close it is to his home. All right, let's go on to 38. It says the word littered, line 7, suggests that the homeowner believes that squatter settlements are A, an eyesore, B, unique to his area, C, a necessary part of life, or D, a legitimate solution to the housing problem. So the word littered, what does that suggest? It suggests that it was an eyesore. A. It's not unique in its area, and it's not C nor D, but it's an eyesore. Pain is eye to see the litter. Let's move on to number 39. Which of the following may be one of the homeowner's fears on seeing the house on the hillside? Is it A, the silk cotton tree would become gigantic, B, proper house would be built on the hillside, C, the hillside would become a squatter settlement, or D, littering would become a problem on the hillside? It would be the hillside would become a squatter settlement. That it was one of his fear. Didn't want anybody to come there. So he that was his greatest fear, because he saw squatter settlement um, in other areas. Let's go on to 40. The repetition of his ill lines 3 and 20 by the narrator. A, displays the depth of his disgust. B, shows how persistent his shock was. C, presents the homeowner's stubbornness. Or D, emphasizes the passion behind his attitude. Obviously, this man is Hill. Very obvious that he had this passion. So the answer would be D, emphasizing the passion behind his attitude. Let's move on to 41. Which words best sum up the homeowner's view of squatter settlements? A, sprung up daily, line 7. B, society out of control, line 8. Or C, Marty's view, line 9. Or D, houses proper ones, line 11. Which one of these words best sums up? It would be B, society is out of control. None of these three would be the answer. So let's move on to items 42 through 49. Here is our instructions. Read the following passage carefully and then answer items 42 to 49 on the basis of what is stated or implied. It says, when the traditional family unit is discussed, it is usually in terms of the external social changes that are threatening its existence as an institution. Little thought is given to the internal problems of normal homes. The central problem for most family members is, of course, how to get along with each other. This internal matter is not without its external implications, for only there are orderly and peaceful families can there be an orderly and peaceful society. Of all the social changes that have affected the family in recent years, by far the most significant has been the increase in the number of mothers of school-age children who have taken outside employment. In Canada, some 75% of women in this category now have full-time or part-time jobs. For the most part, economic imperatives have left women no choice but to work for money. An income sufficient to maintain the lifestyle of an average family took one Canadian 48 hours a week to earn in the 1950s. It takes two people 65 to 75 hours a week to earn that income today. The conflicts between work and family and scarcity of time to devote to children have taken a personal toll on women in the form of stress and depression. Obviously, individuals under stress are harder to deal with than those who are not. So the tensions of work are carried over into tensions in mother child relationships. Men too report feeling stressed out and squeezed between work and family obligations. Males raised in the tradition of mothers doing everything in the home are inclined to be lax in doing housework and awkward in the unaccustomed role of actively nurturing children. But if a two income family is to run smoothly and fairly, the household work must be shared. Another profound change in family relationship lies in the relatively high incidence of divorce and marital separations in Western society. The fact that so many couples feel they must go their separate ways illustrates just how difficult it is for people to live together satisfactorily at the best of times. So, there we have it, the challenges. But let's move into our questions. Question 42 says, according to paragraph 1, lines 1 through 5, which of the following results from conflict between family members? A. Disorder in societies. B. Anxiety in the workplace. C. Disruptive behavior in homes. Or D. High levels of tension between parents. So let's go back to lines 1 to 5. Here it says, when the traditional family unit is discussed, it is usually in terms of the external social changes that are threatening its existence as an institution. Little thought is given to the internal problems of normal homes. The central problem for most family members is, of course, how to get along with each other. This internal matter is not without its external implications, for only where there are orderly and peaceful families can there be an orderly and peaceful society. Okay, there we have it. So let's go back down to our question. So is it, what would be our answer? Which of these now from the would suggest there's conflict between family members? Our answer would be A. It would cause disorder in societies. Let's move on to number 43. According to the passage, all of the following threaten the existence of the family except, so there's one that is not there, is not included in the passage. The high divorce rate in Western society. B. Conflicts between employees and working parents. C. Problems family members experience in getting along. Or D. The increase in the number of mothers of school-age children working outside of the home. Our answer would be B. There was not anything mentioned about conflict between employers and working parents. So, all right, let's go on. The word 44 says the word that is closest in meaning to imperatives. Line 9 is A, matters, B, demands, C, concerns, or D, guidelines. Our answer would be B, demands. Let's go on to number 45. In paragraph 2, lines 6 to 12, the writer compares income in the 1950s to income today to show that A. People today work longer hours for the same pay as in the 1950s. B. People earn more in the 1950s than today. Or C. People today do not work as hard as people in the 1950s. Or D. A single income cannot adequately support an average family. Obviously, this would be our answer. A single income cannot adequately support an average family. Let's move on to 46. It says, the writer suggests in lines 12 through 15 that tensions in mother-child relationships can occur because mothers, one, are dealing with the stress of work, two, are unable to help children who are under stress, or three, lack sufficient time to care for children. Is it A1 only, B2 only, C1 and 3 only, or D2 and 3 only? Our answer is C, 1 and 3 only. They are dealing with the stress of work, and 3, they lack sufficient time to care for their children. That is our answer. Let's move on to 47. The writer's main purpose is to A. Focus on the problems experienced by men, B. Reveal the problems experienced by men, women, and children, C. Highlight some of the internal problems threatening the family, or D. Show that single income families function better than two income families. The writer's main purpose is C. Highlight some of the internal problems threatening the family. That was the main purpose. Let's move on to 48. Couples feel they must go their separate ways, line 23, because of A, high divorce rates, B, inability to live harmoniously, or C, difficulty with Western societies, or D, changes in relations in good times. Can't live in harmony. B, inability to live harmoniously. Can't get along because of the problems. 49. The tone of the passage may be best described as A, mocking, B, indignant, C, analytical, D, complaining. The answer is C, analytical. It's not complaining, it's not mocking, nor indignant, but it is analytical. Let's go on to items number 50 to 54. Here it says, or instructions. Read the following advertisement carefully and then answer items 50 to 54 on the basis of what is stated or implied. Here's the advertisement. It says, the tours we offer are truly unique and very much off the beaten track. We take you into the country to experience the historical, cultural, and breathtaking scenic highlights of the island. Our rich heritage in farming over the centuries has produced grand plantation mansions surrounded by picturesque little corps with stately royal palms swaying majestically in the easterly trade winds. The neat sugarcane fields sweep down the rolling hill towards the wild east coast, where miles of untouched beaches are graced with the backdrop of rugged cliffs and the giant breakers of the Atlantic crashing ashore. At Highland Outdoor Tours, the choice is yours. Whether you are the adventurous type or prefer a more laid back tour, just give us a call and let us advise you. All right, so we see this is about tours. All right, so let's go to question 50. The advertisement was likely taken from A newspaper, B geography text, C tourism brochure, or D naturalist magazine. This should be a giveaway. It is a tourism brochure because you're attracting people. You're offering, as it says here, into the country to experience historical, cultural, and breathtaking scenic highlights of the island. Good, you're giving information about the country, so it would be a tourism brochure. Let's go on to 51. Which of the following is nearest in meaning to off the beaten track? Line 1. Is it A, on unpaved trails, B, into the wilderness, C, through dense vegetation, or D, along roads not regularly traversed? Our answer would be D, along roads not regularly traversed, off the beaten track. Okay. Let's go on to number 52. Which of the following does the advertisement promise? 1, scenic beauty, 2, sedate enjoyment, or 3, outdoor adventure? Here are options: A, 1 and 2 only, B, 1 and 3 only, C, 2 and 3 only, or D, 1, 2, and 3. Our answer would be D, 1, 2, and 3. So it spoke about beauty scene, talk about how you could enjoy yourself, and it spoke about adventure, what you would do, right? All that was mentioned there. Let's go on to 53. The phrase, the neat sugarcane fields sweep down the rolling hills, line 5, contains an example of A, contrast, B, repetition, C, metaphor, D, specific reference. Our answer it is a contrast. Contrast. Good. Let's go to 54. This advertisement seeks to persuade the reader mainly through the use of A, imagery, B, suspense, C, alliteration, or D, exaggeration. It is through imagery. It talks about different scenes. Let's move on to 55. Okay, here we go. Items 55 through 60. So we're coming up to the last section of this May-June 2020 past paper. The instruction says, read the following advertisement carefully and then answer items 55 through 60 on the basis of what is stated or implied. So here's our advertisement. It says, teenagers across the Caribbean are all talking about it. Acne, number one, Acne Be Gone. Number one product on the market. Tested by dermatologists, approved. Hear what it says here. Do you want to clear all unsightly blemishes? Do you want your confidence back? Do you want a date for graduation? You can do all these things with Acne Be Gone. Now available in stores near you at the special introductory price. And it was first for 20, then it went down to 15. Now it is going for $9.99 while stock lasts. It really works. Take the chocolate test. You can eat anything you want and not break out with acne be gone. Side effects include swelling and rashes. Consult your doctor. This question too was on the January 2020 paper. So let's hear what our questions are. 55 says, one fact contained in the advertisement is A, the price of the product, B, expert approval of acne be gone, C, the product's popularity and effectiveness, or D, that stores everywhere are selling the product. Our answer is A, the price of the product. It didn't say anything regarding these other three. Okay, let's go on to 56. To whom is this product mainly targeted? A, people who suffer with acne. B, ambitious people with money. C, girls who want dates for graduation. Or D, people who lack confidence because of their appearance. Our answer is A, people who suffer with acne. That's who it is targeted. Let's go on to 57. Which of the following techniques are used to persuade in this advertisement? 1, financial enticement. 2, showing of the container. 3, appeal to fears and desires. Let's look at our answer. Is it A, 1 and 2 only? B, 1 and 3 only? C, 2 and 3 only? Or D, 1, 2, and 3? It is D, 1, 2, and 3, all of them. right, because we did saw that everything that was shown there. If we take a look, see the product there, all of that was shown. All right, let's go on to question number 58. A language device used in the advertisement to persuade is A, paradox, B, metaphor, C, hyperbole, or D, rhetorical questions. Which one of these? It would be D, rhetorical questions. Remember, it says here are the rhetorical questions. Do you want to clear all unsightly blemishes? Do you want your confidence back? Do you want a date for graduation? So we know that our answer would be D. Let's move on to 59. What might be the purpose of the size of the font used to describe the side effects? A, it hides possible consequence of using the product. B, it suggests that the side effects are minor. C, it misdirects the reader and leads to erroneous conclusions about acne. Or D, it demonstrates that the problems are minor in comparison to the benefits. B, it suggests that the side effects are minor. Let's go on to the last question of the paper. Question 60. It says, the words while stocks last under the checked price most likely would have the effect of A, enticing the customers to save money, B, persuading customers to buy the product quickly, or C, prompting Caribbean people to go in search of the product, or D, fooling the prospective buyers into thinking that he or she needs the product. So we know it didn't mention nothing about Caribbean people. It was not enticing any customers to save money. So we know it could not be A either. So we could say D, fooling the prospective buyers into thinking that he or she needs the product. So that would be your answer. So giving the impression while stocks last, it's often is in a disguisable way to say that, hey, you need to get this product because we don't have much left. So it would stimulate the buyer, the customer to buy this product. So D would be your answer. So this is it. We have come to the end of the CSEC English A May June 2020 past paper 1. So don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment so that we can have an interaction. So until then, see you in the next video.